Victory! The Stag Lord's dead, and the capital of the new barony has been built in place of his fort. That was how the long and challenging taming of the stolen lands began.
Hello and welcome back to episode 24 of my informative playthrough of Pathfinder Kingmaker, and hopefully we won't have any more crashes since that's what happened at the end of the last video, which is why it cut off so abruptly. But we're about to be transported back to the Stolen Lands, where we will get a little tour of our new capital, where the Stag Lord's fort once was. And we get Keston here, who's now our loyal retainer, effectively. His congratulations, he's been transferred, as one might transfer a soldier to a new location. So, yes, and he's going to lead our tour. So, yep, our thriving city, and we get to look around. It's got horses, it's got hay or straw. It's got some buildings and some washing. It doesn't look great at the moment. It's definitely a village. And we can ask him, quite a few things, none of which really has any meaning. What's the mood? Effectively, everything's great here. Everyone's happy with this newly founded capital city. Anyone we should know about? Jod's here, which is nice. And he's eager to serve. There's Kessil, the emissary from Brevoy, and there's someone really important, this blind elf, very old elf, who I've been talking about, the person we're going to hand all these items to, story items, artifacts, fragments of of broken things that we're going to, fragments of a scorched necklace, and all those like dog tags and dryad symbols. We're all going to cash them into the storyteller elf. Where are my companions? They're basically around. Where can I get a drink? There's a tavern nearby. Anyway, lead the way, Keston. It's a shame they never that this bit in particular isn't voiced, because it's quite a long tour, and there are all these conversations that are meant to give the feel of what it's like in your new capital. Apologies for talking over them, but if you want to read them, you can mute me or pause and read. But yes, they're basically new settlers who've been drawn here by, well, not entirely sure, but they're here. Yeah, so we're crossing over into what was the old Stag Lord's fortress, which is now a rather messy looking market square. We've even got a vendor. So buying and selling is alive and well in the Stolen Lands. Greetings, Your Grace. Yeah. So all our different companions will be scattered around the town. Most of them I spoke to in Chapter 1, but of course Tristian was asleep for all that time. Just that reference to Kaida and Callian, he is one of the gods, the accidental god. He gained his divinity by accident, supposedly on a drunken bet to touch an artifact called the Starstone, and when he succeeded, he was deified, I guess. He ascended. And I've spoken through their dialogue about how we breathe fire, so apologies for that. Got Harem there, and this is really nice. We get this lovely view out across this painted background here, showing our new barony, looking out over the Tuskwater, which is the big lake up here. But it's a really nice addition. They describe it as an observation platform, but it looks more like a cliff, just there off the edge of the cliff, like Harem will do for the next 200 days or more. And here we go. In we go to our keep, which has got a fancy throne and a mission table and a 4-poster bed, and all our companions and advisors and the like gathered round. It feels quite special, actually. But as I've sort of said before, running a barony is not easy. And a fair amount of this is tutorial. So it's drawing our attention to the fact that we really need to pay attention to this, because this is where our problems and our opportunities and basically the management of the barony will take place. So always need to check on the table constantly. And Casil here has come with us, the fancy half-orc with his dueling sword. We get a load of bonuses. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stats which we get bonus to. There are 10 in total, but some of them only come into play later in the game. We also get projects which we can do, and some of them we can do straight away, and some of them we'll be saving for later. Projects don't disappear. I'll talk about this more when I show the screen, but yeah. Anyway, solve your barony's problems by appointing the right people. Yeah, not always the case. And yes, this is really important to pay attention to. The beginning of the month, basically, problems expire on the 1st. Well, they don't expire. Problems need to be assigned to have somebody solve them by the last day, by the 1st day of the month. If they don't, they're automatically failed, and it's not great. So basically, you need to make sure you are active and present around that few-day period, crossing over into the new month. Otherwise, things can go horribly wrong. Yes, and we've got an audience with Jod and Tristian. May your rule be long and prosperous. Well, let's hope so. Your Grace, allow me to congratulate you on receiving the title of Baroness. Yes, thanks, Jod. So, they bring an immediate problem. And they're now sort of... This is again one of the themes, and I've tried to speak about this in my previous videos, but the theme of this whole game, this theme of curses, there's something that cursed the Temple of the Elk, and that's not all. So they've found a new curse, or it's merely changed location to this new location. So, what is this place? Where is it? There is a Bold Hilltop, its crown entirely barren of life. The locals believe that rituals glorifying the dark gods were held there back in ancient times. There is no longer any trace of such rituals, but the air around the hilltop is heavy to the point of stifling. This place is like a rotten wound, closed but not healed, and this unlocks a location. And this wound will undoubtedly open again. Tristan and I feel something approaching, something ominous. The curse will soon return to plague us once more. So, we can say we'll go there straight away, or that we're not interested. Obviously, we're going to say we're going to go there as soon as we're able, but they throw a spanner in the works that we can't really do anything. There's nothing there. They just got this inkling that bad things will happen there, so it's worth keeping an eye on. So what do you suggest? So they give us one of our new, or a new time limit, because the whole game is time pressured, and a lot of people don't like that. I quite like it, but it doesn't lend itself very well to a first playthrough. It lends itself to learning how to deal with that. Yeah, people find it quite unnerving, all these timers. Yes, anyway, we should visit in around 1 month. For now, we can only wait and prepare. Thanks, guys. Very unhelpful. And, yes, off you go. So the Bold Hilltop is one of the main timers, and the main quest, you know, the main quest problem of this act is the second main problem. So we can call this whatever we want. We're gonna call it Shrike Hills because that's what's just up here. There we go. Pretty uninventive, except. Okay, so for the last part of the video, I'm gonna spend a load of time talking about this, which is the kingdom management screen. And you're presented with all these sort of bits, like what do all this stuff mean? What does this mean? You know, okay. So, the first thing we want to do is we want to look at advisors. And we need advisors in the game. They're the ones who are going to solve our problems and seize our opportunities. You can see this little visual bug here. This is our mercenary, Melly, and for some reason the picture never fills the whole block. But we've got these 5 positions. So we've got Regent, Councillor, General, Treasurer, and High Priest. And each one, we can assign someone to it. And it's dependent on one of their ability scores, if they're a companion. So, for example, Regent is dependent on Charisma. And that is partly why I bought a headband of Charisma. Because nobody has the Charisma to really excel in this position. Our mercenary does, but mercenaries get a -4 penalty. So she's got basically +5, but +5 -4. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to stick Octavia here because Octavia is chaotic good, and that aligns with us. There we go. Next, our counselor, and this is a wisdom based post. So we're going to stick Tristian in that, and that's our only available advisor, unless we want Melly there, which would not be good. A general, we can we get quite a choice here because Casil is we've got Casil basically, so he will serve well in this role. But actually, I'm gonna stick Bragonga there because I like Bragonga, and you know, it's he might be chaotic evil, but he's a good general. So yeah, in he goes. This is dependent on strength, I should say. Counselor is dependent on wisdom. Treasurer, we don't have anybody here except our mercenary. I'm going to stick her in there anyway. This is dependent on intelligence, and recruiting a treasurer is an important part of this act. And finally, High Priest, we're going to stick Harim in there. This is dependent on wisdom. So there we go. Basically, you want to assign the best person for the role, so long as it fits, I guess, with your alignment. And my justification for this is that he's half our alignment. He's the direction we're going in, which is more chaotic than lawful. Plus, I can't give up that +5. So that's our advisor outlay at the moment. The next thing we can see, if we go on regions, and we bring up our stats, you can see here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I remember that rightly. 10 stats, and each of them is at rank 1 or nothing at the moment. And to rank up each stat, it's in multiples of 20. So we want to get something up to 20 to be able to rank up, and then we get a 14-day event which we have to complete, and that rank will rise from 1 to 2. Okay, but regions is what I was going to look at first. So this is the outskirts up here. We've got a region claim, and a region claim requires an advisor. Okay, and it costs BP build points. You see, we have 450 here, and we only get 32 a week. That's not a lot. You can burn through your build points very swiftly. And to claim this requires 150 build points and 14 days. So once we start this, we are locked into a 14-day event because our card here is there, and we can't do anything for those 14 days. Okay? So we will be doing that, and we'll be doing that first. But I just want to show off the other stuff. Events. This is where our problems and opportunities come along. And this is a problem, so we need to solve this before the end of the month. Or we need to assign someone before the end of the month, which is, and it's a DC 13, and you can see we can put Tristan in there, and he's rolling a D20 plus 5. That's got a 65% chance of success, which is going to take him out of there for now. We also have projects, which are divided up here. So each project, we've got 5, of which 4 are economic, and 1 is a curse-related project. Now, in order to get the secret ending, we need to do a large amount of curse research. Curse research takes a long time. It costs build point, but it does provide at least some benefit there. Now, because we're going to be claiming the outskirts, my go-to, since we're not going to be struggling for build points because I'm going to plow a huge amount of gold into them, is to stick harem in here. Now these projects, they can't fail. You pay, you do the time, can't fail. So we're going to stick him in there and hope that nothing else bad comes up. So there, he's stuck in there for 45 days. Economic, we've got 2 competing ones here. We can either rebuild the Temple of the Elk. This is expensive and takes a long time. Or we can pillage it, which takes a short length of time and nets us a lot of build points. If you rebuild it, you get a region buff later on in the game. But projects hang around forever, so we don't need to deal with them immediately. We've also got this. This is Esvanki's offer, which we gained when we were in Restov. He offers us a free shrine, which is, 25 build points, 30 build points. I can't remember the exact value, but this is really good. And we're going to stick someone in this, and because this can't be failed, we can actually use our mercenary there to do that. And finally, we've got this trade agreement with Zatova, which provides some quite significant benefits later on in the game when we've got towns and cities, but it costs 1,500 and requires 60 days to solve. This requires a lot of saving up to get, and it's debatable whether it's worth it. I don't want to say it's not, and I don't want to say it is, because it all depends on how you play. If you rush this and get it in, and you're not missing out on other stuff because you've forked out all those build points, this will recoup the amount of money you spent on it. If you end up getting it later, there's a chance that it won't. So, it's all dependent on your style. But my advice is, if you're gonna take it early. That's, yeah. And we've got a problem here immediately. Love early problems. This requires 14 days to solve. So I'm just gonna stick Tristan in there. He's got a 65% chance of success, which isn't great. In fact, I will deal with this later after he's got a headband of wisdom, which will increase that slightly. So that's just a very basic rundown. I'm not going to set anything... well, we've set these going, but I'm not going to claim the outskirts yet. We're going to wait until we've done some other stuff around the town, including assigning various items.
I decree we set up camp.
So, Tristan here. Where are we? Harem. Sorry, buddy. There you go. Wisdom boost. And we're going to level him up as well. I don't normally use Tristan, but this will give us another point. So he's very simple. He's an ecclesiarch. Cleric means he's more castery, less armory. We're just gonna level him up as he is. Level 5. And we're going to give him, since he's sort of a little bit focused in this, we're going to go spell focus evocation with him. Even though, possibly not the best option, but that's Tristan upgraded. So now, just to demonstrate why that was worth it, if you'll excuse the loading times. Events, trade taxes, advisor, just +7. He's now got a 75% chance of success, which is much better. So, upgrade your advisors is all I would say. Otherwise, you will be not particularly happy. So, the other thing I'm going to do is we are just going to sell everything. I haven't been hanging on to them for any reason. We're going to head out into the barony. I'm going to sell and buy stuff, and then I'm going to end the video. So, and this is without progressing any time at all, because I want all the time progressed to be that 14 days to claim the outskirts, but I also want to get some other bits and pieces done beforehand, which involves some buying and selling, and also we can loot the dwellings in our capital and claim that we're doing it because of taxes. But I'll probably save that for the next video.
You asked if we'd meet again, and here I am.
Yes, so this if you remember when we killed the Stag Lord, we looked at his necklace and it kind of looked a bit like the one that the Guardian of Bloom gave to us.
I see your fate has changed since last we met. Now you are the ruler who will determine the destiny of these lands. I am their living heart, the whisper of the wind, the strength of rivers, the luxuriant growth of the meadows. Do you wish to touch this power?
He's coming on quite strong.
I will show you a place where we can finally meet in flesh, you and I. Deep in the woods, there is an old mossy ruins long abandoned, nearly swallowed by the thicket. There is an old tree growing among the stones in the yard, which I remember as a seed. A shadow under its green crown I call my verdant chambers. Visit me there, my lady, and come alone. A nymph's reward awaits you.
Yeah, so I think it's quite obvious how the means in which she is using to bait you. Anyway, wait, I wish to ask you something.
Forgive me, nymphs are not made for cities. The noise and vanity of human settlements vex me. I will answer all your questions, but there, in the silence of my asylum.
Anyway, I think we're just going to say I don't need any reward, seeing you as the best reward for me.
Then come to my chamber and be my guest. We'll share stories and laughter, imagine the future, and dream.
Yes.
So long. I will await you there, as the ground waits for spring under the heavy winter's snow.
Yes, laying it on extremely thick. But what we should just look here. Where are we? Yes. Here we go. Last one I click on. Remember, this is Lindsay talking. Oh, I don't like the suggestion. If I were in the Baroness's shoes, I'd definitely stock up on invisibility potions or some other means to avoid trouble. You know, I think it's so obviously a trap at this point that that I don't think it's a I don't think I've spoiled anything. You know, when we've seen the pieces that would lead you to believe that, you know, on top of her come alone and Lindsay's warning, and it's very inadvisable to go there early because it's a very difficult encounter, especially for certain classes like ours. We will really struggle to complete that and escape safely. Anyway, we're just going to steal everything that's not nailed down in the barony. Just doing a bit of tax collecting. It's not
I'll share my path.
particularly valuable, but we're going to take it anyway. Oh, and also we because it's just us, we can't unlock anything until I put 1 point in trickery and then save scum the the checks off camera. Yeah. So let's just give our headband of charisma that, which will give Octavia +1 to resolve things. Going to steal their books and their shells and their meat.
How cute!
And finally, we're just going to head over to the tavern, steal everything that's in there that we can get, and I'll end the game with just a little Easter egg, which is a lot of people are not aware of because they don't talk to, you know, the citizens in the barony, because the majority of them don't have anything to say. So, you know, into the tavern, we can buy supplies in here, and some of our companions are in here as well, like Amiri's over here. But we're just going to pinch this stuff. There we go, lovely. Every bit of gold is precious. We'll go upstairs. Jathel's up here in a room. Here, I believe she's here. Yep. Don't mind us, Jathel. We're just
my time to
stealing
shine.
things. Some nice books, some of which we've seen before. Don't mind us. I'm a fisher. My father was a fisher. His father was a fisher. My great-great-grandfather was a wizard. Sure, he was. Yeah, diamond dust. This is really good to have because it's a spell component. Hide armor, worth far less than it weighs. Good day. Yeah, so this is our last room without
I'll share my path.
what do you call it? Trickery. You can talk to this dwarf who's drunk. Yeah. So,
The dangers don't
like
frighten
I
me.
said, we're just going to pop downstairs and I'll end the video on this little Easter egg. So we're going to steal all the alcohol and sell it back to them later. Pipes, fish. Did I get that one? Onions, excellent. So yes, in the back here, we have Citizen, who doesn't look like anything special. All that alcohol is a lot of money. Yeah, so we can talk to him. He says he's not in the mood to talk. Talk again. I don't feel well today. Talk again. My stomach's on fire. I'm pretty sure the plums are responsible. Talk again. Maybe I should have washed those plums before eating them. Or not even stole them in the first place. And again, it's getting worse. And yes, he explodes. And a little fairy dragon pops out, which does nothing. But I believe that is a little foreshadowing of the Seasons of the Bloom chapter, which is chapter 3. But it's yeah, quite a strange thing to happen. Anyway, I'm going to pause the video here, and I will see you in the next video.